Welcome to the wonderful world of dance, bringing you exclusive interviews with top dancers and choreographers and reviews of the world's best companies across the globe. You can find lots more on our website at thewonderfulworldofdance.com.
Hi, this is Savannah Saunders from The Wonderful World of Dance, and today I am so thrilled to be speaking with the wonderful, amazing Daria Klimentová, who was former prima ballerina with the English National Ballet and is currently a teacher at the Royal Ballet School, Upper School in London, and is also a dance photographer. So we have a lot to talk about today. Hi, Daria.
Hello.
So let's start right back at the beginning of your illustrious career that you've had in the dance world. You grew up in what is now Czech Republic.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Czechoslovakia still, but it's the Czech Republic now. I am from Prague. And you want me to start completely from the beginning?
Well, when did you start dancing, and why did you start dancing?
Well, I started to dance when I was 10 years old. They basically put me to ballet school. Well, I did gymnastics before. Okay. You know, the one where you do the flick-flacks. And I really enjoyed that. And we had a ballet there, and the teacher said that ballet's got much longer life than gymnastics. So they asked me, would you like to be a ballet dancer? But I've never seen ballet in my life, so I had no idea. I just asked, am I going to be able to lift my legs? And they said yes. They laughed at me. I remember this exactly. So then I just nodded ahead, and I did audition, and they took me, which was not very easy actually. I didn't get a recommendation from one doctor. He looked at me and he said that my shoulders are going like this, and that I'm going to have problems with my back in the future, so he didn't give me a recommendation. But my mom didn't give up, because the teacher at gymnastics, she said I'm very talented. So we finally got recommendation from a different doctor who said, oh no, it's going to be fine.
Wow. So have you had back problems as predicted, or was he completely wrong?
No, I was fine. I mean, of course, now I am in pain, but I think probably every ballet dancer is in pain somehow. Well, I developed this scoliosis, but it's nothing to do with what the doctor was saying.
Okay. So starting ballet at 10 these days is particularly considered quite late, even with a gymnastics grounding. How did you find joining a ballet class at that age? Did you feel like you had to catch up, or?
Oh no, not at all. I felt like I was going backwards, because I found it really boring in the beginning. I didn't quite like it first 2 years. No, because you know, when you do gymnastics, you're just running around and doing all sorts of like challenging things, and then the ballet, they put me, you know, next to the bar, and they just wanted me to do one matan, do it so slow and just stand like this. It's just like, oh my god.
You'd rather be running and tumbling and jumping and flinging your leg around.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was quiet and a slow child anyway, but it did excite me. I like challenge. So first 2 years I didn't like it, but then slowly I fell in love with it. I liked the skirts, I liked the tutus, and also because it was quite easy for me because I had the talent, so I quite liked that. I don't think I worked really hard, but because I could do it easily, it was okay.
Which is quite fortunate, really.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think you definitely have to have talent, and it's very good if you work hard as well. And also, if you're using your brain, you have to have certain intelligence to know what to do with the talent.
And when you graduated, so you said the first 2 years were quite hard, and then you fell in love with it. But was there a particular moment that you thought, I definitely want to be a professional dancer, I want to be the ballerina on stage? Was there a moment, or was it continually gradual?
No, there wasn't any moment like this. It's just kind of, I haven't thought about it at all. It's just somehow, I don't know, it's just a life. I never ever for a second thought, okay, do I want to do this or not? It just did it.
Just became your life.
But kind of when I was younger, I always did everything what they asked me to do. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do more, but I did everything what they asked me to do.
And you were asked to do this.
They asked me to go to class, they asked me to go to next year, and that was it. But I did have a discipline, and I'm saying I didn't work hard, but when I'm thinking about it, I think I did work hard. Because I had a book, and I would write exercises, how many times I have to do it. In my holidays, we used to have 2 months holidays, which was crazy. So I had all this plan and I did it, yeah. And I remember when I was 15, I wanted to have a ballet bar in my bedroom and a mirror on whole one side. And my mom thought that I'm crazy and I'm going to damage the whole flat, yes, the image of the flat. But then I pushed crying, yes, and I made a drama and my dad built it for me.
Really?
Yeah, so I was practicing in my bedroom as well.
So actually, it does sound like you had this inner drive and you were working quite hard.
I guess so.
Yeah, but perhaps because you found it quite easy and enjoyable, it didn't feel quite so difficult or hard work.
Yeah, no, I do think I wanted to be good. I wanted to be very good.
You wanted to be
Yes.
good. And when you graduated out of the conservatoire, you went straight into the company. Was that, again, part of this natural progression of your career, or did you stop at that point and think, which company do I want to go to, or did you just join your national company?
Yeah, no, of course I was thinking which company, but I was living under communism there, so I had absolutely no idea what was happening outside, so there wasn't a question of that, because we didn't know anything. I didn't know even it existed. We only knew what's in Russia, in Moscow, Bolshoi theater, and all this Mariinsky. Yes, that was dream. I grew up on Plisetska, on Maya Plisetska. That was like my hero. I wanted to be like that. But my dream was, of course, to pick the best company in Czech Republic, in Czechoslovakia then, and that was the national company. I wanted to get there. Yes.
And so you were, when you joined the company, you were immediately a soloist. Is that right?
Yes, well, not immediately,
Not immediately,
but I had
okay.
a few months. Yes, in the school I graduated with Sleeping Beauty with the main role. And the next year when I joined the company, they were doing a premiere of Sleeping Beauty. And they obviously seen me with the school, so they gave me the role, not the opening night, but I was working on it for a year. And after I actually done the show, they promoted me.
Which is,
I remember I had a first time in my life, like a little shot of vodka, like to celebrate. I don't drink, yes, but I remember that.
Well, it sounds like quite a moment to be celebrated. At such a young age and getting such an amazing opportunity, one which clearly you deserve. But also, even after a year, you were promoted to principal quite quickly, which is a phenomenal rise. How did you handle that, or did you again take this in your stride of life?
No, I somehow, I don't know, I didn't really realize the pressure then, because I didn't, when you don't achieve anything, somehow you don't, you don't feel like you need to prove something. Well, that was me, at least, like that. The more I was achieving, the older I was getting, and the more people were expecting from me. So that I felt the pressure that, they're spending a lot of money on tickets to come and see me, and then I'm going to be bad, so there was a pressure. But when I was young, not really, not yet. I was trying to work hard, and I had all these ballerinas around me, the inspiration, that was amazing. Yes.
And you say you were living in this environment where you didn't really know what was going on outside of, the sort of Eastern Bloc. But you ended up moving out and going off to some quite interesting companies in your career. But when you were within that situation and you're with the company, did you always have aspirations to move on outside of your hometown, your home company, or did this come later?
Well, no, I haven't thought about it at all. But I will go back to school. Yes, I did go to competitions, to Lausanne or
okay.
I did. So I did have somehow little idea what's happening outside, not completely. And in 1989, when I finished, actually graduated, that's when the communism stopped. So it's all started to change. It was not quite changed, but the door opened so we could travel. And I was 3 years in the National Theatre doing my dream company, but I was still going to competitions just as a challenge. My teacher thought it was very good. And I won competition in South Africa, in Cape Town, and that was my first offer, come and guest, just as a guest artist in Cape Town. So I thought, oh my God, amazing opportunity. So I went there and I fell in love with Cape Town. with life. There is not much culture, but at the moment I just thought, oh my God, table mountain and the sea, I want to live here. So then eventually I took the job, and I thought I will make money, because in those days you get absolutely no money. I thought I will learn English and basically experience. So I stayed only 1 year because there wasn't enough culture and I wanted more challenge. There wasn't enough shows, and life was amazing, and I put on weight nicely. I was going this way. So luckily I woke up and I just thought, no, I don't want that.
Can't keep
I want to
doing
go
that.
the other way around.
And so you then found your way to the Scottish Ballet.
Yes, that was again through that competition,
Okay.
because Galina Samsova, who was the director at Scottish Ballet, she was on that competition as well, and she did offer me as well a job. And also, if I remember now, it was Maina Gilgert. She as well, I'm not sure if she was in the competition now, but she knew me, and she quite liked me. She wanted to get me to Australian Ballet. But it was quite difficult, if I remember. I couldn't get like a full-time job because I was from Czech Republic. So she wanted to manage somehow exchange, but then I decided to go to London, I think, something like that.
I just think you could have ended up with the Aussie life.
Yeah.
That would have been quite different to
It would, yeah.
Scotland and then coming down to London. But tell us about your short time up in Scotland.
It was 3 years, and
Yeah.
all I remember, not all, what I remember a lot is that it was freezing there. It was windy, beautiful scenery everywhere. I've seen the whole Scotland, but very cold. And I really enjoyed, actually. It was great repertoire. Galina Samsova brought all the classical big ballets. I did Anna Karenina and all sorts of things like this, Midsummer Night's Dream, roles I would never do in Czech Republic. But I wanted to get to London. Yes, of course I went to visit London, and I just thought, well, yes, that's the life I want to have there.
Down in the big capital.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, of course, you had this almost 20 years, 18 years at the English National Ballet.
I was very faithful to them.
It's quite an extraordinary career to have with the company, particularly such an amazing company as well. And I think your time there is quite well documented. I think it's you've written, there's an autobiography that you've published yourself on your time in your career, and of course there's film documentaries about your time there. And you've been out of the company now for over 3 years. Looking back on your sort of 18 years at the company, what do you think about the most, or what do you remember the most looking back now, having a little bit of time away? How does it give you perspective, or what do you think of it now?
I'm just thinking, like, how could I do it for so long? Seriously. I know it sounds crazy, but just like thinking, how could I possibly do this for so long? Such a pressure, and it's like you have to be so dedicated, and it's just like this. And I remember just for hours and hours, just ballet. You are not really open to anything. You come home and you are exhausted. You don't want to do extra step because you have a show next day. It's crazy, actually. But once you're in it, when you're in it, you don't really see this. You love it, you enjoy it, you want to do it, you want to be the best. I see it only now when I am outside. And I remember when I left the company, I was walking on the street, and I just went like, oh my God, I feel like I can breathe now.
Do you feel like a different person to ballerina Daria Klimentová?
Oh, I don't know if I'm a different person. I have no idea. Ask somebody else.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that easy as you think. Yes, the transition was very hard. And I'm sure it's hard for every ballerina, even if they say it's not. It is really hard.
Well,
I felt like there was a bridge. Yes, there is the dancing life, and here is the normal life, if you can call it. We will never be normal dancers. And I felt like, well, I have to cross that bridge, to change my life and to basically find a different happiness in something else. So I was crossing that bridge, and I feel now like I'm nearly there. I'm not quite there, but I can see something there.
And while you're on that bridge, what sort of emotions or sort of experiences do you go through on that bridge between leaving the dance world and trying to find that happiness in the normal, beyond the stage world?
Well, it was my decision to stop dancing, because my last year I would prepare myself for a show, and then I couldn't do the show because my knee would get swollen, and then again it was like going like this, and I just felt like it's hurting more than actually it's enjoying. No, I did enjoy it. It's nonsense, because I was dancing with Vadim Muntagero for 7 years before, and it was like the best time of my ballet career. We had so much fun. We had the same sense of humor. We wanted to achieve the same things, and somehow we were even dancing. We just matched each other so well. I was shocked myself when I saw video, like the little details. We didn't even rehearse that, and we like a one person. So that was amazing. So the whole atmosphere was basically amazing. We traveled around the whole world and had so much fun. So I missed that a lot.
Yeah.
But I did decide to stop, and just thought it was enough. And I thought Vadim should move on as well. You know, I cannot, he's younger than me, so I cannot just hold him down. There is no way. Exactly opposite, you know. Needed to let go of him, and it was hard.
I can imagine. He is amazing. Yeah.
But after such an enjoyment, you know, I didn't quite enjoy 12 years before, because I was with someone who I didn't really get on, and they didn't want to separate us. So that was hard, and suddenly this came, so I didn't want to let go of that. Even that was my decision to let go of it.
It almost sounds like marriage in a lot of ways.
Oh my God.
Like, you know, but in terms of, you know, 12 years with someone that you didn't quite fit with, and then finding, you know, this wonderful dance relationship on and off stage in terms of friendship with someone who matched perfectly. It's quite, must be just quite an extraordinary experience having both of those in your life.
Oh yeah, no, it was amazing. Of course, yeah. I mean, we're still very good friends, and you know, like we see each other every day. It's not like that suddenly everything finished. Plus, I finished with the English National Ballet, and I actually continued dancing. We were still guesting, we were doing galas, all sorts of things for another, about 2 years. But actually, still not a long time ago, and I still have plans of a few galas. Just doing something easy, easier and easier. I don't want to put myself in the tutu anymore. And it's of course with Vadim. Plus just to keep myself fit, so I can, have a slim figure as long as possible. When he's got a gala and he's dancing with some girl from Russia and she cannot be rehearsing with him, he asked me to. So I actually go and rehearse with him. I mean, he's like a buddy there, keeps me fit, and it keeps him fit too for the gala.
Oh, it's wonderful that you're able to have that.
So we still have fun.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Without the pressure.
That sounds quite nice. Yeah. So now that you've been out of that world for 3 years, you're now a teacher at the Royal Ballet School, the upper school. Tell us about life as a teacher and the transition of becoming this, I guess, different type of role in the dance world.
Oh, it was very hard. It wasn't my dream to become a teacher, really. And I made a few plans, yes, like what could I do, like be a photographer or be a gardener, like flowers. Couldn't imagine what gardener means, you have to do the soil as well, don't you, or something like that. But I like flowers. Or be a teacher, and then at the end of the day, I just thought, it's really hard to be a photographer, to make a living out of it, so I thought I'll keep it as my hobby. And okay, I will have my little garden, that's enough. And I thought what I know the most is ballet. And I just thought it would be actually great to give all my knowledge and everything I experienced to somebody else. But the first year it was really hard. First year completely, I wanted to give up. First month I wanted to give up. And the second month again, and it was like, yes, I just thought, no, this is not for me. And I thought nothing can be better than dancing, nothing. And I actually do still think that nothing can replace, all that amazing feeling dancing.
I can imagine that it must be difficult to replace that.
So I didn't quite enjoy first year. I found it really hard because dancers, we are on our own, in our own world practicing doing these badmintandus, and we don't really talk to anyone, you don't need to. And now I suddenly find myself in front of 17 girls who are staring at me and I'm waiting what I'm going to say. And I knew what I want to say, but I couldn't say it because I wasn't used to speaking loudly. I even couldn't count till 8. You know, you have to count all the movements, and I would be counting till 4, and then okay, what's after 4, 5 or 6? So somehow I couldn't concentrate on giving them the corrections, plus counting and all sorts of things, and creating exercises. It was all new for me. But this is my 4th year in the Royal Ballet School, and I do enjoy more and more. I'm learning every single day. The hardest thing on teaching is to deal with the people, with each student. Each student is different. Some student you can push, some not, so it feels a little bit like a psychologist.
Yeah, that must, with 17 students in a class.
Yeah, 17 girls, yes.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's quite hard. And tell us about there must be some extraordinary differences between when you were growing up as a student and at an infamous school like the Royal Ballet School, with all of this incredible equipment and support, which is amazing that dancers have these days. It must be quite an unusual experience for you.
Yeah, well, of course it's incredibly. I experienced it myself, you know, during the dancing career. All this rehabilitation, and at the Royal Ballet School they have their own nurse, they have a doctor, they have I don't know how many physiotherapists, they've got masseurs, they've got a whole Pilates room and all sort of plans, you know, fitness classes. It is amazing. We didn't have any of this. We just did ballet and just ballet. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it is absolutely amazing what they have here, and I feel very lucky that I managed to get the job. It was lucky, you know, like there is in the upper school, it's 3 female teachers, 3 male teachers, and there is not a free contract every year. Is that we don't, you know, some teachers don't leave every year. So it was very lucky, very good timing that I stopped and I got that job. So I didn't have to become alcoholic, you know, feeling sorry for myself that I can't dance anymore.
Which would be very hard on one shot of vodka in the last 20 years. So tell us about, you know, what are students like these days? You know, they look to, you know, having you as a teacher who's had this amazing career, and, you know, we live in a world now where dancers, and perhaps a bit younger than the upper school dancers, who see, you know, YouTube and social media, and there's, you know, an inundation of sort of access to all different types of dance and dancers and dance tricks, and, you know, versus technique. And what are dancers like these days, if you can generalize at all?
Oh, it's difficult. I mean, firstly, they are, I think, much stronger than we used to be. I mean, I think they work harder, more hours. Well, I mean, it's difficult to say because like the generation before me, or the Russian dance, they were amazing. They were absolutely amazing. So maybe it's nonsense what I'm saying, but they are pretty good anyway. I still do think they are stronger than I used to be when I was young. But and also they have lots of inspiration from this YouTube. You can find any dancer you want from around the world. So that is, we didn't have this. We had to only trust our teacher. Complete trust with teachers. We didn't have videos, nothing. So that was hard. You had to be lucky to get a really good teacher. If you got a bad teacher, then, you know, that's it. Your career is over. Yeah. I also think there's a lot of how do you say it in English? Emphasis. You say emphasis on you know, lifting legs and of all the physique and having this unbelievable feet. Yes, I love it, but. And many pirouettes, you know, many pirouettes, but this is still art. You still have to tell story, you still have to be Manon, you still have to be Juliet. And who says that Juliet has to be with her legs, you know, like this behind the head on the floor bender? You don't really need that. You need to be feminine, delicate. You do need to have a strong technique enough, but you need to have this, you need to have the heart, you need to have the passion, you need to be actress, you need to be able to tell the story, you need to be able to show the difference between white swan and the bad black swan, for example. And I think we're losing that a little bit.
Yeah, that must be quite a challenge for young dancers because they are getting so many different influences, not just from the one teacher or ballet director or ballet master. And seeing this emphasis, particularly in social media and on the high extensions.
You see on Instagram constantly those new videos, and the young ones, they get excited from 10 pirouettes and they see it, and then they want to go, okay, well, I want to do 11 pirouettes. And then they do 11 pirouettes and they post it, but no one really posts I don't know, drama from Romeo and Juliet, do they? It's not that exciting on that little video.
And how do you teach or inspire the artistry, the narration and that storytelling, which often comes from within or from the preparation for roles? How do you inspire these new young dancers to take that into consideration?
Well, we work on it. If you have a repertoire, the Royal Ballet, they actually especially have all these little things like La Sylphide, where you have to feel like a sylphide, all sorts of things like this. And we talk about it a lot. And in class, I do set some exercises which are from maybe different ballets, from a different mood. And together with the piano, with the music, we're trying to work on that as well. But I do have to push them to do lots of pirouettes too, Otherwise, they're not going to get job. It's like even the directors are expecting that. It's really such a hard, I do have to push them, I cannot just go and say, well, just do one. They're not going to pass in these days. And I do have to push them to live the likes too. But, I mustn't forget to teach them all this. Why are we doing all this?
Yeah, which is, and it has always been, that's quite a perfection to try and achieve in all of those areas. And I guess that's what makes a brilliant dancer, doesn't it? So
yeah, of course, yes.
All of this. So the other part of your career you've spoken about is Daria the photographer. So and I love your photographs. I think they're beautiful. But tell us about why you sort of picked up the camera in the first place. What inspired you to want to capture the art?
I have no idea really what inspires me, but I get excited with photos. Not just the ones I take, I get excited even from filming. Like, I don't know, I just love photos. I remember when I was small, my dad had some little primitive camera. I don't even remember what it was. And I so wanted to go and click with the machine and like go and zoom, and it's like just to see what it does. So I remember my first photographs were of my grandma's cat.
Oh,
So
really?
this long hair, gorgeous cat. So I was taking pictures of the cat, all sorts of different experimentation. And then I didn't have camera for ages, but it was still inside me. But I was quite a child and I was scared to ask, blah, blah, blah. And then I managed to get the camera of my husband as a present for, I think it was for Christmas. And I got digital camera, I got Nikon, it was one of those old ones and the quality was really bad. And because I was in the ballet, I didn't have any other chance to go anywhere, so I started to take pictures of dancers. And that excited me as well, from different angles, different feelings, different positions.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing it as a hobby.
And I think having worked with a couple of photographers, it's having a dancer taking photographs of dancers can be quite different to someone who hasn't been a dancer. Do you think it sort of gives you that different perspective on working with other dancers?
I think it does help, but not always. There are some amazing photographers who never
Absolutely.
dance, but
Yeah, so many.
they just have it. They have the eye. And if you are a dancer, doesn't always mean you can be a good photographer as well. Not, you know. It's okay. You know how the position should look like, but then you have to know when to click.
Yeah.
And now actually I do sometimes these photo shoots or the dress rehearsals from the front, and there's millions of photographers, and I can hear they just go. I just cannot do that. What excites me is to go and click in that right moment. But then maybe I don't get it. That they probably got it more than me. But it's still the enjoyment is not there just to go like that.
You want to capture a particular moment
Yes.
that's particular to you,
Yes.
that you see, that you can capture.
And also, like, quite often I'm listening to music, yes, and in that note he should be there, but quite often maybe he's not there. So that's quite tricky too. Like I would go and click on that high note, but he's not there, so I have to actually watch the dancer what he's doing.
Yeah, interesting. Because I guess you know all of the notes.
Yeah. When he's supposed to be up with his splitted legs, and he's actually down. He didn't take off yet.
Yeah. I have to say I have a huge respect for photographers who capture dancers beautifully. Those who are dancers or not dancers, I think it's an incredible art form, and particularly now where social media, there's so much emphasis, as you say, but on sharing of images of dance, and I think I'd be interested in your view, but I think it perhaps helps the accessibility of dance and bringing different types of audiences to looking at these types of images and maybe thinking, maybe I'll go to the ballet ones.
I think so, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
I just wish there would be more on television, more ballet on television. I mean, here in Britain you kind of manage better than anywhere else, but I think I wish it would be there. I actually wish it would be the most, that it would be popular as football is popular. It will never be, but it would be amazing. It's a nice dream.
Well, it was interesting. I saw this report, I think it was done by One Dance UK, I can't remember, but it said in the statistics that in the UK more people dance than do yoga, which is, who would have thought that is true? But I guess, something like 5 million people every single year dance in this country, which is a lot, and yet it's not on TV very much.
But tell me, why is football so popular? You just run after some stupid ball. I mean, I shouldn't say
No, I agree, don't worry.
There is this one stupid ball, and then I don't know how many of these players in the team, and then you just go and run after it, I don't want to say what. Why is this so exciting for everybody?
I don't know.
Why is not a Romeo and Juliet story that exciting in ballet?
Yeah. I agree with you completely. I don't understand the whole football thing either. I don't get it. I'm sure maybe there's something in there that we don't see. I would rather be seeing Romeo and Juliet.
But maybe because we are girls.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. So I just want to ask you a couple of final questions. I wanted to quickly ask you about your masterclass that you have. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, it's called International Ballet Masterclasses in Prague. And I started it 15 years ago. I'm really proud of it, actually. I didn't know that it was going to go that far, that long, and I hope there will be another 15 years minimum.
Yes.
No, I just started. I just wanted to do something for the Czech Republic because there was nothing really happening like this. Okay, it was opening slowly, but no one really brought these international dancers or students all together, and I wanted to bring all these stars like Evgenia Obraztsova and Muhamedov to come to Prague and work with the students. I always every year give lots of scholarships away, especially in Czech Republic, and I thought it was a really great idea to, they could measure themselves, their ability with the international students. And also all these stars, they were all my friends. So first year they kind of did it for free. I told them that there's this danger, that might be not, being paid at all. And it was not, but they agreed to this. So we did have a great time anyway. And then slowly kind of started to work that I am able to do it and give lots of scholarships. And that's the main reason, basically, to have a good time, and hopefully they will take something out of it.
And now it's quite the masterclass of the calendar year, which is quite it is quite amazing. And I also hope you get another 15 or more years out of it, or perhaps you'll have a legacy handing it to some other Czech dancer.
Well, actually, my daughter, she's quite interested in doing it. She's not a dancer, she's not dancing, but she is interested in this just to keep.
How old is she now?
She's 17, so she's kind of been there since she was born. She knows how it works, and now she says she's quite interested to continue, so we'll see.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely wonderful. And thinking about your legacy and this incredible career that you've had, and you're still on your journey in the dance world. do you have a particular vision or goal or legacy that you'd like to sort of leave behind, or that you're still working towards in your life as in the dance world?
You know, I just want to be healthy and happy and enjoy, you know, the life. It goes too fast. I can't believe that I feel like I started yesterday and now I finished dance. It just went like this. So I just want to be healthy and enjoy every single day.
That's such a nice thing to want to do. Yeah.
I don't need to do anything else.
Okay, so my final question then is, what advice would you give to, or what advice do you give to young dancers these days who would like to have this incredible long career, both on stage and beyond? Do you have any words of advice for dancers?
Well, they have to work really hard because the competition is really high, but they mustn't forget about life outside as well. It's good to relax as well and take some days off. I find that the dancers are very, just maybe to say even fanatic, you know, and it's important to balance that, to have a life and to have the dance. So, and mainly to enjoy, not trying to do it for someone, just do it for yourself. And if you get that, I think you're going to dance better.
And can you tell when dancers are doing it for themselves or they're doing it because someone else wants them to?
Yes, I can tell.
You
yes.
can tell.
I can tell.
What is it that, can you sort of describe what it is that makes the difference?
Well, you can see the way they dance. You can see the way they rehearse. You can see how many times they have breakdown and all things like that. Yeah, you know, I can tell.
And particularly in such a tough world as well, it's not easy, is it?
No, of course not. It's very hard. Yeah, so much pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot for someone who's quite young as well. Well, thank you very much for chatting us today.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. And check out the masterclass if you're an aspiring dancer, and if not, buy the book. Thanks.
Don't forget to subscribe. We've got some incredible interviews coming up with principal ballerinas and renowned choreographers. We love dance and ballet, and we hope you'll love us. Join us on Facebook and Twitter.